Live Live Podcast with your host, Jose Arqueta.
Welcome back to another episode. Today,
Live
anytime that I'm back at the studio, I'm always pumped. But today I'm super pumped because I have a coach right in front of me, and I share his same passion for football. I love football, right? I wasn't the biggest guy on the team, but I had heart, right? I had heart, but sometimes that heart wasn't enough for impressing the coaches out there, But anyways, that's not here nor there. Like what's it? Cholo Fit says, that's not here or there. So I'm gonna move forward, but I'm excited for today's episode, guys.
Welcome to Revive Beauty Bar, where beauty meets wellness in the heart of downtown Salinas. Our expert team is dedicated to providing personalized care tailored to your beauty needs. Let's explore how we can enhance your natural beauty. I am here to assess your concerns and recommend the perfect solution. From rejuvenating Botox and RHA treatments to revitalizing skin resurfacing, we have it all to help you glow with confidence. In addition, our IV hydration and vitamin therapy ensures you feel your best from the inside out. Experience the art of medical aesthetics at Revive Beauty Bar. Book your appointment today and discover a healthier, more beautiful you.
I was pumped, I was ready to rock and roll, dude. So I usually start with the proper introduction, right? So I'm gonna go ahead and knock this one out. So today's guest is a man of purpose, passion, and powerful leadership. Coach Art Berlanga, better known in his community as Coach B. Hailing from Soledad, California, Coach B is more than just a football coach. He's a mentor, a family man, a TEDx speaker, a two-time Amazon best-selling co-author, and a certified mental performance coach. With 19 years of coaching experience, 7 of those as a head coach and 16 years as an educator, Coach B brings heart and hustle to everything he touches. His greatest accomplishment is building a life rooted in love with a dedicated husband and raising 2 incredible kids. His mission today is clear: to improve the Hartnell College football program every single day and to help shape young men into leaders, both on off the field. It's a truly honor to have you here, Coach B, in the studio today. I admire you not just as a coach, but as a father, as a leader, and as a mentor. Not many men are built for this kind of impact that you're making, and that's why I respect you deeply. As someone who shares your passion for coaching, I find myself inspired every day I see one of your posts. It lights me on fire. It gets me pumped. And I hope one day I'll have the privilege to be in your staff and learn from one of the best. Maybe one day I'll get to be a head coach of a high school football team, man. But welcome to the Live Life Podcast.
Hey, thank you, Jose. Thank you.
Nah, you're welcome, dude. And like I said earlier before the episode, we always have a gift for our guests.
Okay.
Some beef jerky from one of our sponsors, Hoax Beef Jerky, Maria. We love her jerky, dude. I know you'll love it.
That's right.
If you love it, just hit her up right there on the social media. She'll be more than happy to deliver some for you and your players too.
Oh, thank you. I like me some jerky, man.
Yeah. Oh,
Yes,
dude.
sir.
It's I love it, dude.
Yeah.
I remember the first time I met her, I was like, dude, your jerky, dude. Jerky's so delicious, and she pushed it, and she's just been selling a lot, Yeah, I love it. So usually I like to learn about your humble beginnings, but there was something about you that struck me. I read your about you, and something that stood out that I was like, whoa, I want to start with that before we dive into your humble beginnings.
Okay.
So you mentioned that you came across of a video, and that video said something to you that opened your eyes and got you thinking that if money was not the only thing in life, how did it go? I forgot. If money was the only thing in life, how would you leave it, or something like that? Yeah. What was it so impactful about that you were like, holy shit?
Man, you did your homework, Jose.
I did.
You did your homework,
I did.
Man, that was years ago, man. That was 2012, 2011. I remember, though, I came across this video on Facebook.
Yeah.
and it posed that question where if money was not an option, or it didn't dictate what you wanted to do, what would you wake up doing every single day?
Yeah.
And my answer to that was very quick, very clear. It was I would love to coach football every single day.
Yeah.
Every single day, just be around the game, be around the team, the connection with coaches, and working with guys who have a common goal and working together to accomplish that common goal,
Right.
and whatever it takes for us to do that, right? So, yeah, man, I remember that day very, very. It was vivid, man.
Yeah.
It was vivid, and that's what I wanted to do.
But what the video that you saw? Who was like that said that? It was just like like the commercial, the narrator that was just talking behind the video. You're
Yeah,
like,
I think
it just
so.
got to you. Yeah.
Yeah, it was just one of those clips where it was a voiceover,
Mhm.
and then they were showing people just doing what they're called to do or doing what they're passionate about every single day. And it showed artists, right?
Mhm.
It showed musicians, and I thought about football.
Yeah.
I thought about coaching, because unless you're a 4-year level coach, man, a head coach or a coordinator, you're not getting paid. You're not getting paid, man.
Mhm.
And it's just part of the industry, right? Where
Yeah.
you give a lot of your time, a lot of it's volunteer time.
Mhm.
And I remember one year we calculated the amount of hours we spent on one season. It came out to like 7 cents an hour.
Oh wow.
As far as the time we put into the preparation and coaching and the off-season program, and then the coaching stipend, if you want to,
Yeah.
the coaching stipend,
Yeah.
right? It was like 7 cents an hour, man. But I don't live my life that way, man. You know what I'm saying? So I just a calling on my life, man. Gosh dang it, man. I love what I do every single day.
No, and I see it, dude. I see it, and it's amazing because I like talking to people like that, and I'm able to read people right away, and I'm like, dude, that individual loves what they do, even if it's just a simple job. You know, you see that person's body language right away, and they love what they do. You know, and we're the same age. I played against you at one time. And yeah, dude, I mean, I think I was trying out for Harnell too as well, but I didn't get the love because I was a small guy, you know what I mean? But but that really it didn't rub me the wrong way, but that just made me realize like, hey, there's a lot of kids out there that have a lot of heart and they deserve to play. You know what I mean? There's nothing wrong giving an opportunity. That's just me, right?
Right.
But it's just like, okay, so when I get the opportunity to coach, I'm gonna make sure that I bring that to the table. Like everybody has an opportunity, not just the studs or the ones because their parents are always involved in the team or they're like behind you in your ear telling you, hey, well, play my son, you know? So I took that and I learned from that and I applied to the times I had opportunity to coach football, you know? But yeah, dude, I read that and I was just like, whoa. And you know what? I'll be honest with you, it got me thinking. I was like, as a cancer survivor, dude, I was just like, there's times where I think about like, God, give me an opportunity. You know, what is it? What is it?
Right.
You know, what is it? And every time I ask God, every prayer that I do is like, God, what is my calling? Like, why did you give me another opportunity in life? And I'm like, well, dude, doing your podcast, you're bringing good people to show around the world, right? One, and you're just trying to educate people of my side hustle and all that stuff. So it's like you do have a calling. You know?
Yes.
Yeah. So it's like, okay, boom. I kind of talk to myself in that way, you know? But yeah, so I read that and I was just like, it got me thinking a little bit. My brain was like, yeah, that is right. That is right. Yeah. So,
Jose, how many people go every single day and they do a job just to survive, right? Or the money's so good that they live a certain lifestyle that they really appreciate and value, but they hate their job. They hate waking up in the morning, going to the same job every single day, or they hate their role within that position. It's like over 80% of people who don't even love their job, right?
Yeah.
And I refuse to live my life that way, man. I'd rather be poor and grateful, right? And bring value and purpose to this life than to be rich and have all these deep pockets or what have you, and I'm miserable.
yeah.
Right. So that's just why I mean, that's my perspective, right? This is how I see it. You don't have to agree with that, but that's how I approach my life.
Yeah. And that's why you're so unique.
Man.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. No, and I've seen it, dude. I've seen what you're doing at Harnell. I've seen everybody pumped. I've seen the videos. I see everybody just listening to you. You know, like you're just like letting everybody know what's up. Like, what's your purpose? Why are you here? Remember why you're here. You know, this is the beginning to wherever you want to go in life. And whatever you apply here, you're gonna apply in real life, right? So yeah, dude, I see it, man. I like that. So I just wanted to start off with that. Yeah, with that.
Yeah.
So now let's move forward to your humble beginnings. Were
Yeah.
you obviously you're from Soledad,
Yeah.
right? Chole.
Hey, C-Town, baby.
Yeah, Chole. Were you born? Well, obviously you were born in Salinas, or were you born in King City, or?
Actually, I was born in South Carolina.
Oh, okay.
Charleston, South Carolina,
Nice.
to be exact.
Uh-huh.
My dad was in the military,
Okay.
so he was stationed there at that time, and my twin brother and I were born.
Yeah.
And then we moved to my dad. Eventually, we ended back here in Salinas. My dad's originally from Salinas,
Okay.
and my mom's from the island of Guam.
Uh-huh.
And we started our life here in Salinas, and then we moved to Soledad when I was about first grade.
Uh-huh.
And then I just grew up there, and just seeing the work ethic of my parents. Right, my dad he's a retired firefighter, so he worked for the
Nice.
city of Salinas as a firefighter. My mom was a mail carrier for the U.S. Postal Service in Soledad as well.
Mm.
So my parents are just servers, man.
Yeah.
They taught us what service looks like, how to serve your community, and to just do it to the best of your ability, man. And they just set the ultimate example, right, of how to look after people, how to take care of people, and to give.
Mhm.
So, yeah, man, I attribute all that to them.
How was it growing up with where your dad being a military
Mm-hmm.
and being a firefighter, having that discipline that he brought? How was it growing up?
It was good, man. I mean, I feared the man, you know what I mean, in a very healthy way, not a fear to where
respectfully.
Yes, exactly right.
Yeah.
To where if I make certain mistakes or certain choices, I knew there was gonna be consequences for those choices, right? And that's the fear I'm talking about. And he was everything. He was always present.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, my parents were always present, man. They went to every game. Anything we competed in that was important to us, they were there, man, because showing up matters. Showing up matters. And it was just, the way he raised our family, he gave us things that he never had, right? Because he didn't have the best relationship with his father growing up. And he taught us those lessons, man. And he showed me what reconciliation looks like, where he took upon himself to humble himself, to go to his father and to figure things out and to come to a common ground, or at least meet him halfway. Like, hey, Dad, I can't control how you react to this, but I want you to be a part of my life. I want to be part of your life. And I remember every Sunday after church, we went to church here in Salinas, and we go visit him every single Sunday, man, after church. Spend time with my grandpa, right? And that's just the kind of man my dad was, man. Completely transformed, gave his life over to Christ, man. As an adult, when I was I believe in kindergarten, and I remember both my parents getting baptized, man, changed their whole life. And as the word says, man, you transform your mind, you transform your life, and that's what he did.
Nice.
That's what he did.
Beautiful. So you will wake up early. He'll wake you up early in the morning, like, hey, get up, do your chores, get ready to go to school.
Yeah, not necessarily, man. I think he really gave us the freedom to make our own choices.
Yeah.
Because my dad was a big time wrestler growing up at North Salinas High School, CCS champion,
Nice.
State placer, right? He actually wrestled at Hartnell for a year, for a semester, when they still had a wrestling program at Hartnell back in the 70s, late 70s. And then went off to the military and was a boxer. And he boxed in the Navy for a little while. And he realized, man, I don't really want my life to be about boxing. That's all he was he'd get up, he'd train, right? Eat, train, sleep, train. And it was the same thing over and over again. He just didn't like that lifestyle, right? And so he allowed us to make our own choices, right? So basketball and wrestling is during the same season here in California, and it's a winter sport. So I'd never got a chance to wrestle because I just really enjoyed basketball. Basketball was the first sport I was introduced to as a young kid, man. In third grade, I remember just being introduced to sport in elementary school. It's like, man, I really like this game. I really like this sport, and I played it. I played it all the time. Yeah.
All the way to high school?
All through high school, yeah. And I was pretty good at it, man, to be honest with you, man. I wasn't obviously the biggest guy, but I really enjoyed the game. I spent more time becoming a better basketball player, Jose, than I did ever football.
Really?
Right? I went to numerous basketball camps, never went to one football camp.
Oh, wow.
Not one, but I ended up playing college football, right? And the funny story about that, Jose, is how I picked football over basketball was I went online one day. And I don't know if Google was even around back then or what, but I typed in the search engine, what's the average height for a college basketball player for the point guard position? Because that's what I was. That's the position I played was. I was a point guard, and it's like 6'3", right? Average. It's like, dude, I'm only 5'10", you know.
Shit.
On a good day, I'm And then I
I'm
looked,
5'5".
yeah. So then I typed in what's the average height for a college football player
Right.
for the defensive back position. 'Cause that's what I played in football, as defensive back. And it was 5'10". I was like, shoot, man, I'm 5'10". So at least I'm average. And so when I saw that statistic, like I have a chance.
Right.
And that's all I needed.
Uh-huh.
And I just I put my head down and went to work, man.
Yeah.
And here we are.
So you played basketball all the way to high school.
Yeah.
At what point did you say, you know what, I'm going to try out for football? Was it your freshman year?
No, that's good question. I didn't start playing football till my 7th grade in middle school.
Oh, okay.
That was my first time ever playing youth football in Soledad. Yeah.
Soledad Warriors?
No, it was back then. It was called the Soledad Bulls.
Oh, okay.
Soledad Bulls. And back then it was only a South County league. We only played against the South County schools. So Gonzales, Greenfield, and King City, and we played everybody twice.
Okay.
And that was it. And then we maybe had a scrimmage at the end.
Yeah.
I think we scrimmaged Carmel one year when I was an 8th grader. But I played quarterback in youth football. And then I played safety on defense. So, yeah, man, that's kind of my introduction to football. And I had a great experience doing it, man. And gosh, I haven't stopped since.
Right. So you were playing football and basketball, right, at 7th grade. And then do you remember your age roughly when you like make that research about like where
Yeah, I was in high school.
in high school?
I was going into my junior year in high school.
Junior year. Okay.
Yeah, because I was realizing, man, I really love sports. The only reason why I even get good grades in school is because sports is keeping me eligible, right? I didn't take much pride in being a good student. I just did enough to get by,
Right.
I just did enough to get by. I never really put any extra time outside the classroom that I needed to because I was just playing.
Yeah.
I was hooping or I was working out. So, but yeah, I made that decision. I did that in high school going into my junior year because I figured I want this to be a future.
But before you got to that point, did you still find yourself being more in love with basketball or
no
football?
doubt.
Or football was starting to creep that love in slowly before you make that choice?
Yeah. I loved basketball, man. I'm telling you, man, I was a huge fan. I watched all the college teams. I followed the March Madness, right? The tournament every single year. I would always fill out a bracket, right? I had certain players that I was a fan of, and I would follow players and just watch their journey. Like Allen Iverson I was a big fan of AI, growing up. And then as I got older, I think it was after my junior year. I was like, man, I think I'm a better football player than I am a basketball player. And that just sometimes that just works out. And even now, just coaching kids today, like certain kids, they might love a certain sport, but your future might be in a different sport because you're just more natural at it and you're more gifted at it, right?
That's true.
So that's the conclusion I came to. I was like, man, I think I have a better chance of going further in football than I did basketball. So that's how I kind of made my decision. And then once I graduated from high school, once I finished my final season of basketball my senior year, it was all football, man. It was all focused on football so I could prepare my body to get ready for the next level.
It's amazing you said that because I agree with you 100%. I've seen kids I had the privilege to coach kids that they play football that were tall, good players, but they love basketball. And then sometimes they contradict the schedule because they had to play. Like I had this one kid that was at Gil's basketball camp, stuff like that, GBA, and he loved it. And I pulled him to the side. I'm like, dude, do you really love basketball? He's like, yeah. Well, you know what? Just go for it. Do it. I went to see his game. I saw he was phenomenal. I told him, you know what? You're good at football, but I think you're better at basketball.
Yeah.
Stick to basketball.
Yeah.
He thanked me for it, and he went off to go play college. I forgot where. But yeah, he's still good. I mean, he was an amazing tight end, but at the end of the day, basketball was his calling.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you see great examples like Antonio Gates for the Chargers, right? The great tight end.
Yeah.
He was a hooper in college. And then he ended up playing in the NFL, right? There's a lot of stories like that to where guys were better at or loved a certain sport more than the other, but they were just better at a different sport, so they stuck to the sport they were better at.
Yeah. That is true, dude. Yeah. So you made that decision. You're like, all right, I'm gonna go all in on football. You're junior, you're playing varsity, obviously, right? It started getting serious to you more your senior year when you're like, hey, this is my last year. Where am I gonna go? Where are my options? Am I getting offers? Or, you know, you're working twice or 3 times more, trying to get bigger.
Yeah.
What is your preparation to get ready to go like to college? Any Division I, Division II, Division III. What was your preparation for that?
Great question, Jose. I remember my first phone call that I got from a college coach. I was during my senior season. I think early in the year, it had to be around August, and we get a phone call at the house, and the head coach from Idaho University called us about potentially playing football for their program, right? So it was that first contact, that first phone call about recruiting. And it lit my eyes up, man. Like, gosh, dang, it motivated me. Like, man, I do have a chance.
Right.
I do. Like, man, this kid from this two twin boys from Soledad, California, right?
Yeah.
Like, about to go play 4 year football out of high school, be the first ones from Soledad High School to do that, right? Because we're the first graduating class in 2001. So that really motivated me, man, to even work even harder. Never got the phone call again. It was one phone call, but I never got another phone call after that. But that's okay. And then we went to Hartnell College after that. We enrolled that spring. I was still a senior in high school. I enrolled in spring ball that spring because I just wanted to get going, man. I was so excited, so eager, so motivated to start what it took to be a college athlete, right? What that looked like, and just be a part of the team, get to know my coaches a little bit and what to expect, right? So that preparation began then, man. 2001, enrolled in spring practice at Hartnell College, participated the whole spring with them. And I realized, man, I can play at this level, man. I can play at this level. And I just continued to work hard, man. And then after Hartnell College, played 3 years. I ended up being 3 years there because my freshman year I got hurt and I had a season-ending injury with a dislocated shoulder. So I had to have a season-ending injury or surgery. And then I came back the following year as a redshirt freshman, did well. And then sophomore year did well again, was consistent, and then went off to the next level, man, at Colorado Mesa University, Division II school. And man, I had a great time there too, man.
Yeah.
Had a great career, great experience. And gosh dang, man, I would never, football has introduced me to people that I never would have met. It has taken me places that I never would have gone because of the game. And that's why I love the game so much, man.
Yeah. How was your culture experience going to Colorado? Coming from a small town, Chole.
Oh, man, that's a great question, Jose. I went from being the majority to a minority. We talk about being minorities, right? But look around, man. Look around the Monterey County. We're the majority, right? People of color are the majority. Mexicanos are the majority here. We're not the minority here. We're the majority, right? And being biracial, right? Being an Islander and Mexican-American, right? Yeah. And just having that dynamic even growing up, right? Like, well, what do I want to identify with today? Am I gonna be more on my Islander side today, or I'm gonna be more Mexican today, right? Or I get around my Islander family and my cousins, like I'm an Islander, right? I'm Chamorro, I'm a Guamanian, and then when I'm around all my Mexican family, you know. But one thing I learned just going from, you know, Soledad, California, Salinas, growing up here in this area, and then going to Colorado, and then just being the only person of color in my classroom. Yeah, any color that was not white. Yes. And experiencing that, and it made me more prideful as far as being proud of my culture, being proud of where I came from, or where I come from. I took a lot of more pride in it, man. Nice. And it was a great experience, man, to experience some racism. You know what I mean? And people come up to me at a bar, you know, with my boys, and we're out hanging out and doing a whole partying thing, and people come up to me and say, I hate Mexicans. Really? And I was like, well, I'm half Islander, half Mexican. I was like, well, I hate half of you then, or whatever, right? Wow. And straight to my face, man. You know what I mean? And then have to make certain decisions based upon those temporary emotions. Like, well, if I react to this guy, where is that going to end? I'm going to get kicked off the team probably, right? I'm going to get sent back home, whatever that looks like, right? I'm probably going to get arrested because it's at a bar and there's security there, or whatever it may be, right? Or he can hurt me in a very traumatic way where I can hit my head on the ground and people can die from that, right? Or whatever it may be, or I can hurt him, whatever. So I had I just was very aware and conscious of certain decisions. I was, before I made them, I thought about it, right? But just to experience that, right? Jose, like experience the racism, to experience the discrimination, right? I'm okay with that, man. Cause now I know both sides of life. I know what it likes. I know exactly what it's like to be in the majority, and then now I know what it's like to be truly a minority, right? And all that comes with that. So, but I had great experience though, man. I'm grateful for all of it, man, because it helps me have those experiences to teach other people when they go through it. Right. Like, look, man, it doesn't have to be this way. It just made me more prideful about where I come from.
Not only that, but if you have an athlete that is going to go to a certain city, you're like, hey, dude, you know, you're able to give him a heads up ahead of time. Right. I don't know if you know Aaron Palacios. He's a good friend of mine. Okay. He went to
Benedictine?
No, Penn something. I'm sorry, Aaron. If you're watching this episode, I'm sorry for messing up the university. It's Penn. Anyways, It was I think it was Division 2 too, and he said it was a culture shock for him too.
Yeah.
He's like, dude, I'm big. He's like, I'm 5'10". I get there's bigger guys than me, but he went for a full ride scholarship for wrestling.
Okay.
But he ended up being a walk-on
Yeah. Okay.
on football team.
Yeah,
He
yeah.
became a stud.
Yeah.
You know, and he wrestled all his life. Again, we're going back to, you know, one sport and then being good at another sport, you know. He's another great guy, dude. His coach philosophy is, I mean, you should have that guy too in your staff, dude.
All right, man.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, but yeah, I mean, just I always like to ask that because, I mean, I've never experienced that, to be honest with you, but I've heard from friends that have gone somewhere else. I mean, I have the privilege to travel, but I guess I've never got to experience that. But it sounds like you handle that pretty good. You thought about it like, dude, if I kick your ass, dude, what is gonna happen? You know, you know, and you thought about it. You control your emotions, you suppress your feelings, and you just turn around and keep enjoying your day.
Yeah,
you know,
man.
yeah.
And it's what like I teach my athletes today and our team is like your emotions. If you can't control your emotions, you can't control your performance, right? So then I show them clips of road rage.
Yeah.
People's life have changed forever, either lost their life because of a road rage incident, right? Where their emotions got the best of them, right? Now, so now they're dead or they're hurt or they got a lawsuit or they hurt somebody else, right? And now they got to live that with their conscience. Like, gosh, dang, why did I react that way, right? Because if you can't control your emotions, you can't control your performance. So the same thing in sports. If you're too high and you're too low, you're not going to perform very well, man.
Yeah.
So you got to be even kill, neutral, and I teach them strategies how to do that, right? Temporary emotions having permanent consequences, right? And I understood that at a very young age.
Yeah.
I'm not the toughest guy, man. You know what I'm saying? And I have no desire to prove how tough I am. I could care less, right? But I understand if my emotions get the best of me in these moments, man, I'm going to say certain things that I'm going to regret or wish I would have said it differently, or I'm going to behave and react a certain way with my behavior that's going to make me regret it or wish I would have acted different, or I could take that moment back, right? So again, temporary emotions having permanent consequences.
So what's your intake of those pro athletes that let their emotions get the best of them?
Oh, I love it because I use it as examples with our team. So I'll show clips of like, this is what happens when your emotions get the best of you, and look who is it hurting. It's hurting the team. Like, for example, I showed him a highlight or a video just this last week. I showed it to him. A guy scores a touchdown. He gets in a dog position. He lifts his leg up like he's peeing on a fire hydrant, right? Well, that's a 15-yard penalty. So the game is 21-20. They just scored. They're down by 1. They got to kick the extra point to tie it to go in overtime. There's 4 seconds left in the game, right? So now, with the penalty, you have to get backed up for 15 yards. So now the PAT is farther. Well, guess what happens, man? The kicker misses the kick. It goes wide right. Now they lose the game because someone's emotions got the best of them, and it hurt the team. It costed the team. So I like just to go back on that question. I love it because it's a great example to teach my athletes on my team. This is what happens when your emotions, if you can't control your emotions or you let your emotions get the best of you. And then it's my job to teach them strategies and tools when that does happen, how to reset themselves.
I love that, dude. I love that because a lot of coaches will go straight to the playbook. Straight to the playbook. Well, the ones that I've seen, they go straight to the playbook and they don't talk about stuff like this. And they address it, but when they address it, it's already too late. It's in the sidelines. Everybody sees it, right? And I like that you're addressing that right now.
Yes.
Right now, you start with that moving forward along the playbook and everything else. So you focus on the most simple, but yet more important things.
Yes.
Yeah, I like that, dude. I like that. So let me rewind it back. So you're at high school. You get that phone call. Did you, as you were going to spring ball at Harnell, getting ready, you're still playing your senior year, did you say, you know what, screw it, I'm just going to go to Idaho? Or they never call you back?
Never called me back. So that wasn't even an option anymore.
Did you feel like you were still playing with a chip on your shoulder, trying to prove yourself, see if you get another phone call, or nah?
I live with a chip on my shoulder every day, man. Even when I coach, I still got that chip. I have the same chip I had when I was an athlete, where people doubt me, people underestimate me, right? And I use it as fuel. Same thing as a coach. I got people right now, right, who don't support my position, who don't support and have say negative things about me being in this position as a head coach.
Really?
At Harnell. Oh yeah, I've heard it. You don't think I know or hear. I know and hear, right? Because it's a small community. It's a small community as far as, especially within the coaching community, right? Yeah. So people talk to people, right? And it gets back to me, right? And I just I don't pay much mind to it. I just use it as fuel, man.
Yeah.
And you just use it as fuel.
You know what? That's a good thing. I always preach about this. Always surround yourself with good-minded people. People that are always going to cheer you up. Because even for me, I've experienced that. Even me starting this podcast, dude. You know, I get people like, "Oh, you suck," or "You're," you know, stuff like that. And then I turn around and I see they're doing it.
Yeah.
It's like, what? You know what I mean? So it's like, yeah, but I mean, dude, you have a lot of experience.
Yeah.
You know, you bring a lot to the table, and I feel it's just more of a not hate, but it's just kind of like. A lot of people had their opportunity to do it. They just didn't do it.
Right.
You stepped in.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
And I'm big on too, like, I'm never going to take the criticism of others of who I never would ask advice from.
Right.
If I would never go to you for advice, then why would I listen to your criticism?
Right.
Yeah, I hear it and I'm going to use it.
Yeah.
But I'm never going to take it to heart. Like, I'm not going to allow your words to define me.
Yeah.
How can I allow you to define me? I decide who I want to be. I decide, right? Because I know who's in me. I know who lives within me. That's where I get my purpose from. Right. That's where I get my calling from. That's where I get my passion from, right? So who cares what man says about me, man?
Right,
Watch me go to work, man. There's two people in this world. People, those who watch and those who work.
Dude, I'm getting pumped, bro. Let's go work out right now.
Yes, sir. I'm a worker, man.
Yeah. That's what's up, dude. Yeah, no, I like that because, you know, you just got to keep moving. You got to keep pushing. And not just to shut people up. It's just, hey, that doesn't even bother you.
Right.
You're better. You got something inside of you better than that. Dude, check out my stats, bro. That's all you got to do. Dude, look at your stats. Check out my stats, you know? And then come talk to me. Yeah. I like that, dude. I like that. Yeah. So, okay. So, obviously, you didn't go to that school. They didn't call you back. You end up playing at Harnell, 3 years. You go over there to Colorado. You have a culture shock. You experience racism. Yeah. Now, you're playing there for 2 years?
Yeah, I was there for a total of 2 years. Yeah.
So you're playing there your 2 years. The first year, dude, walk us your first day of practice.
Hey.
From junior college to Division II. Walk us through that. Like, what was how different was it from one place to another? Because obviously you got Pop Warner, and then you got high school, and then you got junior college, and then now you're in the Division II school.
Right.
Like, how was it, dude? How different it was?
I love this question, Jose. I remember flying in to Grand Junction, Colorado, leaving out of San Jose. We get in this small propeller airplane. It has 2 propellers on the airplane, small, tiny airplane. And what I learned now, which I didn't know then, is the turbulence in the summer is brutal in Colorado because of the mountains and the elevation. Yeah. So it was a rocky landing, man. Like all this turbulence. It's like, gosh, is this normal? And this is the first time I've been on an airplane since I was 5 years old. Oh, wow. Right? The last time I was in an airplane, we went to Guam to go visit our family. Right. That was the last time I was in and that was a big commercial airplane, right? Yeah. This one's a small airplane. So anyway, we land and we get out of the airplane, and I'm walking to the airport, to the terminal, get my luggage. And I remember walking out. As I'm getting closer to the baggage claim area, man, my confidence was just skyrocketing. Like, I'm here. Let's go, man. It's time to go to work, right? Yeah. Let's go prove ourselves again. And the biggest difference, too, was locally, right? You grow up in the area. People know who you are, especially if you do well at the high school level. And then at Harnell, you know, I had a pretty good career. Mm-hmm. So people know who you are. Mm-hmm. I get to Colorado, nobody knows who I am. Mm-hmm. So it's like, man, I have to prove myself all over again. Even my own teammates, right? They may have heard some things, but who cares? So it's about what you do now. Mm-hmm. Who cares what you did last year? What are you going to do today, right? Mm-hmm. And the biggest difference I would have to say as far as the levels is, man, the biggest eye-opener, we'll say, was I was finally around teammates who loved football. I really didn't get to experience that in high school, where people love the game like how I love the game, mm-hmm. or people didn't approach the game how I approached the game, right? And when I got to this level, man, at this school, man, they took their craft seriously, right? Mm-hmm. And it just made me better. It's like, gosh, this is what it feels like to be part of a team who love football. And like guys working out or getting up early, just like I'm getting up early. Now I have people to work out with in the morning, rather just me and my twin brother. Yeah, you know what I mean? At 5 o'clock, 5:30 in the morning. So it was a huge breath of fresh air to be around guys who are passionate about the same things you're passionate about, and the sport that you're passionate about, right? So that's probably the biggest difference. As far as level of play, I've seen better athletes at the junior college level, mm-hmm. as far as at the skill position. Because I was playing against guys who went Division I, you know what I mean? Who mm-hmm. played at some major Power 5 high school or Power 5 schools. And at Division II, they weren't nearly as fast on a week to week basis, right? Mm-hmm. And I just knew that I remember when we started fall camp, I got my first interception during a team drill against our first team defense versus first team offense. And I got my first interception and I took it back and I returned it. And I remember like, I can play at this level. Not only can I play at this level, that's when I realized like, man, I think I can play at a very high level at this level too. So, and that's what I did, man. That's what I did. I had a really great career, great experience, man. The best time of my young adult life was college football.
Okay, you mentioned that the difference was that well, not difference, but you love that you were with the group of guys that loved the game, right? But how was your okay? You check in, you were staying at the dorm or something like that.
My first year, I was in the dorm.
You're in the dorm. Okay, your first day, you go to. Was it a team meeting or what was it that you walked in? You're like, what was that vibe, that energy you got that first day you walked in, either to your team meeting or. And then I want to know, how was your first day when you put your helmet in your pads?
Yes.
And then how everybody, because you talked about like people look at you, that your teammates looked at you like, who's this guy? Where's he from? They start sizing you up right away. They want to know what you're all about, right? They want to know if you're a team player or if you're just another guy, a cocky guy, right? And then, how was it when you walked into the weight room thinking you're going to be the first one, but yet there's a bunch of guys there. You're like, whoa.
Right.
I mean, I know there's a lot of that I just throw at you right up, but if you could just.
Yeah. When it became really real to me, Jose, when I walked into the gymnasium of our college and I saw the NCAA logo on the court.
Okay.
It's like, gosh, man, this is my dream. This was my dream. This is what I worked so hard for to get to this level.
Did you feel accomplished right there?
Oh,
at that
man,
moment?
I did.
Yeah.
I really did. But then at the same time, I wasn't content. I knew this was just the beginning, right? So some guys, they get there and like, I made it. Now I don't have to work hard anymore, right? And they just kind of just go through it. And I wasn't that way. That was not going to be me, man. So it just really, again, motivated me, inspired me to work even harder. And I remember because we got there 2 weeks early before fall camp started because the elevation, we wanted to get adjusted to the elevation because I wasn't trying to be throwing up and dying during fall camp because of the altitude difference, right? So we got there 2 weeks early, got our bodies acclimated to the elevation there in Colorado. And then it was just, I'm telling you, man. And then the weather, it was hot. People think, yesterday was 78 degrees? People dying yesterday, man, right? People are just complaining how hot it is. Like, it's hot today, right? It's like, it's 78 degrees, bro. You know what I mean? We got the ocean breeze coming within the next 30. And when it's hot like that, it only lasts for a few hours.
Yeah, like 2-3 hours.
Dude, in Colorado, it is hot from the moment you wake up to the moment it goes down. It's still 90, 80 degrees. You know what I mean? So just getting used to that, right? And that takes some kind of mental toughness too, mental strength to get through the elements of weather, right? The hot, the humidity, the dryness of it, whatever it may be, right? And that's a challenge that many guys they fold under, man. They allow elements that they can't control to affect them, how they play and what kind of mood and state of mind they're in, right? It's like, I'm not going to focus on things I can't control. I'm not going to worry about what I can control. And what I can control right now is how can I get better today? So I can make sure I'm a starter and make sure I go into game 1, right, of this season and contribute to this team. That's what was my mentality, man.
Going back to when you walked into the gymnasium, you saw the NCAA sign, you felt like, okay, I made it. Game on right now. It's not over. Work is just starting. That was your mentality.
That was it.
Yeah.
Exactly right.
Yeah. And I could just picture you walking in. All right. It's game on, baby. Let's go. Yeah.
And then the NCAA logo was also a sticker on our helmet. So just seeing that, man, I was like, gosh, dang, man. It was a very proud moment for myself, man. But it was just a moment. I didn't let it carry. And again, I was not content, man. It was only the beginning.
When you walked into the locker room, did you went with the group of guys from Harnell? Or was
just my brother and I?
Just your brother and you. Okay, so you have your brother right there. You guys walked in, put on your shoulder pads, your helmet, and you step into the field, dude. How was that feeling? Besides, you're like, okay, I'm here. Let's get to work. I don't know if you can't remember, dude, or just vision and like how was it when you putting your helmet on or you're walking towards the field and you see everybody ready to rock and roll and you're like, all right, let's do this. What was your thought process at that moment and your energy as far as like excitement, or was it more like you're ready to work?
It was a little bit of, I think, combination of both. I was excited, but at the same time, I'm ready to prove myself too. I can compete at this level, right? And I remember I immediately thought about my family. There's the sacrifice my parents made, the life they created for us, because they they both grew up, they didn't have. I don't want to say they were poor, but they definitely struggled financially, right?
Yeah.
Both my parents and they did the best they could with what they had, right? So.
Right.
I just think that I thought about my parents. I thought about the sacrifice. I thought about the life that they created for my brother and I to even have this opportunity. And I was not gonna squander it, man. I was gonna take full advantage of it and to be grateful and to give back to my parents by taking care of my responsibilities with this opportunity, right?
Nice.
To not only play college football, to get a degree, right? And then my brother was the first one in our family to get a 4-year college degree, and then I followed after him, right, with getting mine. But yeah, I just use that as motivation, just to not to prove the people who believed in me, prove them right.
Right. How was it your first game? You started right, or you were a starter automatically, right? Or I mean, you worked your way to be a starter, but you started your first game. How was your excitement levels on your first game? Like, who did you guys play against?
To answer the starter question, so I come in there, I was on the 2 deep, right? So I was a second string when I got there, and the guy in front of me, which was explained to me by my position coach, my defensive coordinator, and even some of my teammates, was that this corner that's in front of me, he's projected to be the best corner, the most athletic corner, the best corner they've had at this school. At least what this coach said he coached. Like, this guy's was the most talented, gifted corner that he's had since he's been here. So it's like, okay, I took that as a challenge, right? I took that as a challenge. Okay,
You're like, hold my beer, bro.
yeah. I was like, okay. It's like, well, there's only way to beat him out. So I got to outwork him.
Yeah.
I got to outwork him. So sure enough, something happened where he got hurt, actually. And if you're not available, man, you're not available. So that was my opportunity to step in and get those reps. And I maximize those reps, right? So I go to week 1 as a starter. And I remember warming up. I was in the back of the end zone, just going through my pregame routine. And I remember thinking to myself, I'm looking around the stadium, I'm thinking, man, nobody knows who I am. Nobody has any clue about who I am, where I'm from, nothing. It's like, by the time this game is over, they're going to know my name and they're going to come up to me asking me, hey, number 4, what's your name, right? Where you're from. And sure enough, that's exactly what happened. I ended up getting an interception the first game of the season, and against an All-American wide receiver from Central Oklahoma. And I remember, man, I just thought about this right now, Jose, with the other question you asked was like, what was it like that first team meeting? And the coaches talked about, because we were ranked 12th in the nation, preseason poll, we were ranked 12th in the nation that year. And I was like, gosh, man, I'm part of a national contender. Like, I'm not just part of a college football team, but I'm part of a college football team who's competing possibly for a national championship, right? I was like, gosh, man, what a great place to be, man. Like, I just thought about the opportunity. I was just so grateful to be in that in that moment, to be part of this opportunity. And yeah, man, just to answer that question. But I hope I answered it, by the way.
Yeah,
okay.
you did. So you move forward your career, playing 2 years, right?
Yeah.
Was there ever a time in your mind that, okay, I'm in Division 2, I think I'm ready for Division?
It was different times back then, because now they have the transfer portal now. So say you do extremely well at the Division 2, Division 3, or even NIA level, if you have eligibility, if you can enter the transfer portal, right, and then get an opportunity to play on the next level. It's happened with many guys, right? But I never thought about that. I knew when my last season of football ended as a senior in college that I did want to keep playing. I had some interest from some NFL scouts where they came by, practice, and they watched us, right? Not just me, but I had other teammates who were really good too. But I ended up playing arena football after after college. So arena football at that time was pretty much like the next step under the Canadian Football League. Then you get the NFL, right? So the arena football was like the third on that list. So I figured, if I just want to get to an NFL camp, I don't know if I'm good enough. I don't know if I don't know. But I played arena football for 2 years professionally, where they paid me to play football, man. And I was against guys who went to Alabama. My teammates were guys who went to Clemson, right? All the major college football programs in America, these guys were my teammates. And I was better than them. I was better than them, right? Not all of them, but the guys on my position group, to where I became a starter, right? Or went to camp and there was an X number of DBs in the camp. Well, I didn't get cut. I made the team, right? So that really put a stamp on, like, gosh, man, I could have played Division I football, if given the opportunity, I could have, but I didn't. So be it. But I'm here now, right?
Mhm.
So it just brought my confidence even higher to let me know that like I was able to play at that level this whole time. Now that I'm here.
Engaging video content can drive your business forward. We specialize in creating professional corporate videos and commercials tailored to your brand. Collaborative ideas help display your vision. Let's elevate your business today. LC1 Productions, crafting stories that matter.
Here, that to me, that was my validation to myself. Like, okay, I could have played at that level,
Right.
if given the opportunity.
Let me take it back a little bit. So when you're playing Division II, obviously you're starting, you're playing. How was your feeling? I mean, you talk about this. You have this confidence in you, bro. That you're like, dude, I'm ready to throw down whoever when it comes out to the game. But when you were playing other teams, right, against other teams, and you knew that you just mentioned you were going up against an All-American.
Mm-hmm.
You were playing with other individuals that play at a high level, right? And I'm sure you knew ahead of time, like, hey, you're gonna go up against this dude. This guy was like, whatever, or he played Division I. Now he's here.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, dude, you just put your helmet and pass and let's go to work. You never let any emotion like, oh man, he's an All-American. I don't know if I'll be able to take him. You never let that take over your mind or mess you up. Kind of, sorry my language, but kind of fuck you up mentally. You were just you will use that as energy and fuel to say, okay, let's do this. I'm going against one of the best. I'm the best, right? I like that. Yeah.
That's the only man. That's all I know, man. Like, if we put a challenge in front of me, I'm gonna figure out a way to go through it. Right? I might not win, but I'm gonna fight.
How was it when you were not winning one? Like, if you couldn't block one guy and he just beat you, and he got a pass, and it was a first down. Like, okay, second down.
Yeah.
You were ready to go to the second round, ready to go again? Or how was your thought process on that?
Great question, man. Actually, this is one of my struggles.
Yeah.
That was one of my struggles, man, where a negative play would affect the next play, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or it would linger for the whole week, right? And at that time, I didn't realize that it's not that I'm having a bad game.
Yeah.
It's just I had a bad play. I had one bad play, right? So I just thought about, we got to move on, man. You got to move on. I got to get control of my emotions, right?
Mm-hmm.
I can't allow my negative thoughts to run rampant,
Mm-hmm.
right? I have to speak life into myself and get ready for the next rep. I have to reset. And I didn't know I was doing that at that time, but that was one of my major struggles. Is like, man, if a guy caught a ball on me or I gave up a touchdown, how did I respond to that, right? How did my confidence get shaken? And it did get shaken.
Right.
And I just had to push through it though, man. I had to push through it. And that's how I kind of and now today with my current athletes, because now I am a certified mental performance coach, looking back on my college career, I was doing these things and strategies without me even knowing it, as far as the mental strengthening, the mental toughness, and the tools to get your mind back, to get your mind right for the next play. But I didn't know that at the time. But I was doing it this whole time. But I didn't realize it until now. So that was just my mentality, though. Jose was like, yeah, I got beat. I let it linger for a little bit, but then I have to respond now. I have to respond. It's like life, man. Things don't go your way, then what? Yeah. No one's gonna come help you, man, if you ain't willing to help yourself.
Right.
So let's go to work, man.
Yeah.
Let's go to work. If I fail, I fail, but I'm gonna learn something new.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah. Round 2, let's go.
Let's go, man. Yeah.
I've always every time I had the opportunity to ask that question, I always ask it, like, how was it? Like, you get outbeat or you missed a block?
Yeah.
And you go back to the second down. What are you gonna do? Right? Yeah.
And then there's a whole thing, like I teach my team today, is there's a reset process, right? So we take a deep breath, because when we understand how to breathe, it lowers our heart rate, right? It lowers anxiety, it gives clarity, it gets oxygen going through your bloodstream at a higher pace, at a higher rate, because now your muscles get to function and perform how they want them to, just by taking a deep breath. So I teach them that. That's step 1. The second step is some kind of verbal trigger. I got this, man. Let it go. Reset. Next rep mentality. Let's go, man. Let it go. Let it go. You're built for this, man. Right? Speaking life into yourself. Because if I don't speak life into myself, I'm thinking about all the things I did wrong, and I'm going to allow that to linger and affect me moving on. So how can I move on from that if I don't know how?
Right.
And then the third step is a physical trigger. Some kind of physical trigger to where I'm clapping, I'm wiping my jersey off and let it go. I'm putting water on my hands in between series. Like, wash it go, man. Let it go. Let it go. Right. So those are the things I teach my athletes today, how to reset.
Nice.
Yes.
Nice. All right, bro. So you're playing indoor football, right?
Yes. Arena ball. Yep.
Arena ball. You're playing there, and you're like, dude, all right. Did you ever thought like, okay, I think I'm gonna push myself a little bit more to go to the NFL scout, or your thought process started changing? Like, you know what? I think I want to coach now. When did that process change?
Oh, great question, man. I realized I wasn't as good as I thought I was.
Really?
Yeah.
I mean, you're telling your journey like that. I'm good. I can play at this level, and then you get to the point like, nah, I'm not that good.
Yeah.
How was how? All right, bro. Let me ask you this: when you told yourself that, what was your feeling?
It was just a reality check, man. So
Really?
I had the speed, I had the athleticism. I just didn't have the physicality against these grown men, man, who were just 50 pounds, 60 pounds heavier than I was, right? And my body just wasn't built to sustain every single day just a punishment of covering and guarding guys who were 200 to 215 as far as weight wise, right? And they're 6'2", 6'3". Yeah, against the smaller receivers who were a little bit more my size, I did well against, right? But the bigger guys, man, it would just wear on me, man. It's just the physicality, right? And I was only playing like 180 pounds, and I'm 5'10", right? So over a period of time, I realized, like, man, I didn't have the genetics. Genetically, I wasn't built to play at the NFL level. I realized that because I've been around NFL guys now. It's like now I know for a fact that I was not meant to play in the NFL because I know what those guys look like now. I know what their body looks like because genetically they're freaks, man. They are. That's why they're part of the 1% that play major professional football at the NFL. Is because they're genetic. One, they got to be genetic freaks, right? So their recovery process is different than everybody else. An injury that would affect me will last a month. It will last them a week. Yeah, because they're able to recover faster, right? They're stronger. They're bigger. They're explosive, right? So I realized at that time, one, I didn't want to play the NFL. I had no desire to play in the NFL. One, I wasn't good enough, right? I had to come to that reality. And then secondly, I remember my second season playing in Fort Wayne, Indiana. And we were playing against a team who was first place in our conference, and we had to beat them to get into the playoffs that year. And I remember looking around, and it was a great atmosphere, man. A lot of people there. And I remember looking around, Jose, and I looked at the crowd, and I thought, man, I don't want to be here right now. And it was about the third quarter. I don't want to be here right now. I was playing okay. Like, I was having a decent game. I remember thinking, like, man, I don't want to be here right now. So then I go home that day, and I said to myself, like, man, I think it's over. I think this is it. And sure enough, that was my last snap. That was the last game I ever played in without even knowing it, right? And I've realized, and I tell this to my athletes to this very day, the game will quit you long before you quit the game, right? So I had to think about, like, okay, what's my next move? What's my next step? So I go back to Colorado because I didn't finish school because I got signed in the spring. So my season ended in November. December, I was going through the tryouts, the workouts, and getting brought in for private workouts and things like that. And then I get signed. So then I have to go to camp in February. And then our season starts in March. It goes like March through July is our season. So I go back home. At that time I was home. So I'll go back to Grand Junction. I roll back in school. And then I'm back at school. And then my head coach at the time says, hey, Art, since you're back in town, would you like to coach? I said, well, help pay for school. That's like, you're back on scholarship again. It's like, okay, I'll do that. And sure enough, man, I remember my first practice, Jose, during fall camp. I remember, man, and I think we just got done with our first period. And I remember thinking to myself, like, dude, I think this is what I was meant to do, is the coach. Because the gratification I got, the response I got from my athletes that I was coaching and how they're able to implement what I was teaching them and then see them be successful at it. They fired me up, man. It really got me going.
You said first period, so you had a team meeting first before you.
Because football's all our practice. We have different periods, so like there's certain focuses or emphasis during that period. So like for example, period one will probably be an individual period, right? So we're teaching technique, a lot of mechanic stuff, and then you go into like 7-on-7s or special teams or whatever it may be. So after that first period, man, after just coaching, I was like, gosh, man, I this is what I was meant to do, man. I think this is my calling in life is to coach and to pour into young men.
Right.
Yeah.
It just came natural to
Natural, man.
Yeah.
And it's the fulfillment I got from it. It was like nothing I ever experienced before. Even as a player, I never received that kind of fulfillment ever in my life.
Right.
Because we were meant to give, right? We're meant to serve.
Yeah.
And that when I experienced that, it's like, man, giving something to somebody else and watch them be successful at it by what you taught them. Oh man.
Yeah.
Yes.
So that was your first year coaching, and then the second year you became a recruiter too, right?
Yeah, I coached there for 2 seasons, right? 2007, 2008. And then I realized that college football wasn't for me. Four-level football wasn't for me because of the time, the demand, and the lifestyle. And I knew eventually I was going to be married. I knew eventually I wanted to have a family, and I knew this was not going to be sustainable, right? Some coaches make it work. I just wasn't going to be one of those guys, man. And so I moved back home to Soledad after I graduated. So got my degree. I moved back to Soledad, started substitute teaching, and then I started coaching back at my alma mater, back in my hometown. And then that's how it kind of just started, man. That's how it started.
But going back to your 2 years coaching at Colorado, you were a recruiter though, right?
Yeah, it's part of coaching.
Oh, okay,
yeah.
okay.
So every coach is a recruiter.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
How was your process of recruiting? Like, what was it that you were looking for? Were you looking for like athletic, or were you looking more than athletic, like mental toughness?
Yeah.
What was your process of recruiting?
So it comes down to this, man. We have a whole stack. Back then it was DVDs, right? So we had a whole stack of DVDs being mailed in, and we put the DVD in, and we watched like the first. If you don't get my attention within the first 3 clips, I'm not watching the 4th one. It's that fast.
Wow.
Within 5 seconds, you know if this kid can play or not.
Would you like to share what is that you're looking for? Or
I'll share it. So what I'm looking for is obviously athleticism and speed, especially if you play the defensive back position, because that's always recruiting my position group.
Oh, okay.
So if you can't run and you're not athletic, you can't play DB for me, man, because you have to run. You have to be able to be. You have to be fast, man. Yeah. You have to be able to change direction, right? Because they're going forward and you're going backwards. So you have to be even more exceptional at that position because you are playing backwards, right? So speed and athleticism, of course, ball skills, how do they play the ball? And once I find out, once they pass that test, as far as just the athleticism piece, and does their athleticism meet our scheme, right? Can they play man-to-man, right? Can they be on the island, or are they more of a zone guy? Because there's guys like that, right? Or they're more specifically a zone type of a defensive back. Some defensive backs do well at both. They can play man-to-man or they can play zone, right? So it depends on the scheme. So athleticism, and then size, of course, plays a factor in it, right? So obviously I'm a smaller guy, so I'm not going to discriminate against a smaller guy, but 5'10", 5'9" is like the limit. If you're shorter than 5'9", if you're 5'8", 5'7", man, you better be the fastest dude on the field then. You better be able to jump and dunk a football or dunk a basketball then. So you can jump and with those bigger receivers, because if a receiver's 6'3" and he can run just as fast as you can run, but he's jumping just as high as you can jump, well, he's jumping higher than me because the height difference. So if we both jump 35 inches in the air, he's still going to beat me for the ball, right? Yeah. So if you're smaller, you better jump higher than that guy. You better have even better ball skills than that receiver, because that's what you're going to be playing against, right? So all those things. And then, of course, then we get them on the phone, we talk to them, right? What kind of character do they have, right? Are they a hard worker? Are they a me guy? Or are they a we guy type of thing, right? So, and then how do they handle adversity? What kind of struggles are you going through in life right now, right? What's the biggest challenge you had as a football player, right? Did you get benched for a game? How did you respond to that? How did you react to that? Maybe you weren't a starter, and then you were now. What did you do to get your way back to becoming a star? Or what did you do to get to become a starter, a starting position, right? So those things I want to know, man, because mentally I need to understand: are you prepared for this level? And is it a lifestyle? Or is it just something you do because you're talented at it and you get to show up and you think you just ball out? But at the college level, you can't do that, man. It needs to be a lifestyle. You need to wake up, think about football. You need to go to sleep thinking about football, because that's all it is. The moment you wake up, Jose, at the college level, from 5 to 5:30 in the morning, you're working out, you go to class, you got meetings, you got practice, you got homework. That order every single day. So that's why I didn't have a girl, man. I didn't have a girlfriend in college, man, because of the time. There's a lot of girls I turned away right, that I was talking to, or we're hanging out for a while, right? We're dating, if you will.
A lot of broken hearts.
Yeah. And it just, and they didn't understand the lifestyle that I had, right? So it took a very special person to understand that lifestyle as a student athlete, because not many people get it. They don't get it, man. Even now as a wife, like there's a certain lifestyle I live as a coach, right? If anything, it's actually more demanding now as a coach than I ever was as an athlete. So I'm spending even everything my whole day is what am I doing to improve our football program?
Right.
Every single day, man. From the moment I wake up, responding to emails, text messages, coaches needing something or wanting something, right? Players needing something and wanting something, right? So every single day, man, this is a lifestyle, man.
Yeah.
It's a lifestyle.
Do you still have the relationships with those students that you recruited?
I do.
Yeah. Did any of them ever made it to NFL?
Yeah, they did.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah, I've had a handful of them that I've experienced, right? They did their part, right? I had my small part in their journey, right? In their development, but they're the ones that put the time in, right?
Yeah.
They're the ones that put the work in.
Yeah.
So that's all there.
Yeah.
You know, that's their flowers, man.
Nice.
You know what I'm saying? They put themselves in position to be at that level, right? But yeah, absolutely, man. It's a great experience to see a former player of yours play on national TV. It
That's
really
awesome,
is.
dude.
Yeah.
That's awesome. All right, so you moved back to Chole.
Yep.
You start coaching Chole. Did you coach the varsity team too there, or just
No,
the
man.
freshman team?
So let me tell you about this then. So I go from I was a college coach for 2 years. I go back to Soledad for year 3, and I asked the head coach, "What do you need me at, man? What's best for the program, man? You're the head coach. This is your team. Where can I be best utilized?" He says, "Coach, I could really use you at the JV level." Like, okay, I'll go to JV. They didn't fuss, didn't fight. So what position do you need me to coach, right? It's like, I need you to coach receivers and DBs. So I was like, okay, I can do that. That's what I played. So I was like, I can do that. And then working with the JV staff, I go from a 4-year college coach to a JV high school coach. A lot of guys wouldn't do that because their ego gets in the way, right? Their pride gets in the way.
Yeah.
Well, that was not going to be me because I'm here. I'm part of something bigger than myself.
Right.
I'm back in my hometown.
Yeah.
I'm back in my old school. How can I say no to that, man? I'm here to serve these young men. The same young man I walked the same hallways with, sat in the same seats with, right? Or as, now I'm back giving them life, giving them opportunities that I didn't have, or information and wisdom that I didn't have at their age, right? Techniques that I was introduced to as an athlete, now I'm giving them, right? So that I can help them prepare and get better every single day, right? So I was not going to allow a title to interfere with that, right? It's all pride. That's all pride, Jose.
Yeah.
Right? It's all pride.
Yeah.
I was not gonna let my pride get in the way. How many times we meet somebody, and you just hear him speak, and like, man, this guy's a prideful dude, man. He can't even get out of his own way because he's got too much ego.
Yeah.
Right. And then people don't want to work with you because of that ego, or you don't last long at certain industries or certain teams or certain businesses or corporations because you can't get out of your own way. It's not about you. It's about the team.
Yeah.
So what can you bring to the team? And that's been my mentality from day one, man. Like, how can I bring value to the team? And I teach the same thing now as a head coach. There's nothing that an assistant coach can tell me that I haven't done or I'm not willing to do. So if I ask you, if you're my assistant coach, Jose, and I ask, hey, Jose, man, I think you need to, I really can use you coaching running backs. Well, coach, I never coach running backs. Like, well, that's a great opportunity for you to learn then. Or you're going to say, no, coach, I only coach O-line. I only coach wideouts. No, I don't want guys like that, man. I want guys who are open-minded and guys who want to be challenged and be uncomfortable, because that's the only way you can grow.
Yeah, you learn every position.
And I did that, man. I've coached 19 years right in the game. I've coached every single position now, Jose. Yeah. And it's only made me a better coach.
Better coach, because you understand everything.
Exactly right, man.
Yeah. Not a lot of coaches do that.
No, they don't.
Yeah, they just stick to one thing, or I'm just a head coach. I just oversee everybody. That's it.
Right.
You know, and I call it plays. That's it. You know, I've seen that, dude. So you're coaching JV. How does that journey goes?
I loved it.
You loved it?
Oh, the funny thing is, there's a kid on my current staff right now named Caesar Sanson, who he was a sophomore that year, and now he's on my coaching staff.
Nice.
That's what it's about.
Yeah,
that's what it's about.
So how long were you then in Chole?
I was only there for a few years, and then went to Seaside High School after that, because I feel like, okay, I think I want to be a head coach one day. So what am I going to do to prepare myself to be a head coach? So that's what now that was the next step in my mind, was like, it's all about preparation now. I don't know when the opportunity is going to come, but I need to start preparing for the opportunity now, right? And I knew I had this knack for leadership. I knew I had this desire to be a leader of men, right? And I just did that, man. So I reached out to Coach Avila at Seaside High School, and he's been there for over 30 years, right? Very decorated coach. And they just won a CCS championship in 2009. It's like, well, who better to learn from than a guy who knows how to win, right? A champion. And then I heard, I never knew him personally up until that moment, but just hearing how he carried himself, right? How he created a family atmosphere within that program, and how he was unashamed about his faith when he did coach, right? Things like that. So I reached out to him, and he really showed me how to run a program, man. Like the culture piece, the family piece, accepting people, right, for who they are, and then coaching them and not giving up on them, right? And yeah, they might be a headache, man, but you're making a difference in their life, right? So transforming lives. So he showed me that, man. So I was like, okay, this is what coaching is really about. It's not about just winning football games, winning league championships. Coaching is much bigger than this,
More
right?
than that.
Yes.
How long were you there in season?
I was only for 1 year because my twin brother, he got the head coaching position at Soledad High School the following year in 2011. So, of course, I went with my brother. And again, we're back at Soledad. And Soledad at that time, man, was struggling. The program was struggling. I think they had like 8 or 9 straight seasons of losing. They haven't had a winning record for almost a decade. My brother gets the head coaching position. We tag team the job together, right? Kind of split that role in half. Right. And we end up breaking the school record or tying the school record for wins in the season. We win 7 games that year and go to the playoffs for the first time in school history, our very first season together. Nice. And then I was there for 2 years. And I was like, gosh, I still need to learn more. I need to be around even more knowledgeable people, right? So I reached out to Coach Collins at Hartnell College. I gave him a phone call. I said, hey, Coach, I'm looking for the next step. I want to just continue to grow, to continue to get better. I'm interested in coaching your staff. What do I need to do that? And he says, yeah, come on by. So we talked, we met. He's like, I want to have a volunteer position for you. I can't pay you. That's okay. I'll volunteer. And that's the thing too, man. A lot of coaches don't understand is that, man, you got to sacrifice, man, if you want to become great. You got to sacrifice, man. And that's the way it takes what it takes, right? Yeah. It takes what it takes. So I volunteered for that first year, and then in the following year, I end up getting put on a coaching stipend. But I was there for 4 straight seasons at Hartnell, and just learned a whole lot, man. I learned more about structure, just the day-to-day grind, right? As far as the things that a lot of things that head coaches deal with has very little to do with football. It's all administrative stuff, man. Like managing the team, leadership, the culture of the team, the climate of the team, and then also working with all these other grown men who are coaches. And how do we reach a common ground for us to work together to get to where we want to get to, or accomplish what we want to accomplish? Yeah.
Then from there, you ended up at Gonza.
I did. Yeah. So then I got my first head coaching opportunity, right? Where 2017, it's like, okay, I want to be a head coach now. I think I'm ready now. So I started looking. I was putting my name out there, right? So I applied at certain positions. Didn't get certain interviews, which is fine because I wanted the experience. I wasn't really looking forward to getting hired. Obviously, if the opportunity came, I would have taken it. But I was more so just, how can I get experience interviewing? Because you have to do well in an interview, right? So I have to exactly. Again. It's all preparation, Jose. It's all preparation. So Gonzalez gives me an opportunity. And the funny thing about Gonzalez, though, Jose, let me tell you this story. They actually hired a guy like in February out of Southern California somewhere. Well, he doesn't show up, man. He starts responding to phone calls, emails, text messages. So now Gonzalez is left without a head coach. And this is in April now, late in the game. This is late. So then I find this out. So I call the school, say, hey, I'm interested in the position. Where can I apply? Boom, I apply for it. I get an interview. They hire me the end of that weekend, right? They give me a call, and the superintendent calls me on a Saturday, and she offers me the job, right? So then, okay, I'm about to go be a head coach at Gonzalez High School, right? And first day of practice, I had 12 players. 12. How are you going to start a team with 12 guys? You need 11 to play. Yeah. And that's that's only assuming you have the right 11. You need linemen, or you need skill position players, right? And all those things. So we had 12 guys. So be it. We got to start somewhere. Right. Got to start somewhere. So then we did that journey, man, and turned that bad boy around within 2 years. But it's all about the men you surround yourself with, man. Yeah. That's how we did it. It wasn't just me. It was the men in that room that went on this mission with me, man.
So the first year where you had 3 wins.
Yeah.
And
We went 3-7,
3-7.
but we started off as 0-6. We lost the first 6 games of the year.
Right.
But here's the difference. We were getting better every week.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we weren't winning on the scoreboard, but we were winning.
Practice.
We were winning on the practice field. We're winning on the game film. You can see the improvement, right? You can see the fight. Even though they were down, they weren't giving up. They weren't quitting. They kept fighting. They kept staying together. But I can work with that. Right? So then, yeah, we go 0-6, but those games we lost, half of them were by 1 point or 1 touchdown. So it was very close, so very competitive, right?
Yeah.
So that gave the boys hope, like, man, we can play at this level. We can compete at this level, right? And then year 2, we won 11 straight.
Yeah. Saw that.
Yeah.
Your record's still there.
I hope so.
It's still there. The other day we did like an event where they invited us and we went to present to the kids, and we were there. And then I looked at the wall and I see it. I was like, yeah.
Yeah.
And but yeah, I mean, how was your feeling knowing that you were able to not only accomplish your goal from work to getting to being a head coach, right? How was that feeling knowing that you were able to turn the program around? You know, from getting 12 players the first day of practice to being, what was it, division?
Yeah, we moved up every year I was there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. How was it, dude? How was your feeling knowing that, like, hell yeah, but I still want more?
Yeah.
Yeah. How was it, you know?
Yeah, it's just now it's about consistency. Anyone could have one great year because you have a pretty special group, right?
Right.
Which we did. We had some really good, talented players that year, right? Well, what can you do the following year? How can you sustain that success, right? And that level of play. That was the next challenge for me. Is like, can we sustain it now? Can we be consistent? And sure enough, we were. Even though we went 11-1 in 2018, right? Year 2, year 3, we go 7-3, right? Consistency. And we were very young that year. The following year, we lost a lot of seniors.
Yeah.
We had a very young team, and then the pandemic hit, right? But the challenge was being consistent. The challenge was moving up to another division and still competing at a high level.
Right.
Still competing at a high level.
How was your, because you impact a lot of kids in Gonzales High.
I would like to think so, yes.
You impact a lot of kids. And it's just like, how was it when you were like, all right, I'm ready for something else? You made the decision to leave. How was that talk with that team, dude?
Yeah, it's one of the hardest things I had to do.
Yeah.
One of the hardest things, man. It was not fun.
Because it was your first time actually.
Yeah, because I poured so much into that program area, so much into that community.
Yeah.
I gave them everything I had every day, right? I gave them everything I had. And the reason why I left, man, was because the administration at that time, they weren't very supportive. And that's the case in many places, right? You see a lot of great head coaches, a lot of great leaders leave certain schools because the administration is not on board. They don't share the same vision, right? And how can you not share a vision with a guy who only wants to do right by the student athletes and the students? That's all I wanted to do was do right by them by using football to do that, right?
Right.
Well, if you don't see that and we're not in alignment, then I'm not going to be here, man.
Yeah.
I don't have to be here,
Right.
I'm going to go to a place where I'm valued. I'm not a threat, right? Some people saw me as a threat, man, unfortunately, right? For whatever reason, they saw our football program as a threat. I don't know why, because all we're doing is good for the community. That's all we're doing, right?
Yeah.
And we're creating an environment, a culture within the city of Gonzales, right, where boys are moving on to the next level, whether it's Hartnell, NPC, right, at the next level, giving them opportunity. Like, man, maybe you can continue playing,
Right.
So. Just that, and that's the reason why I left was because the we didn't share the same vision anymore, and plus it was a whole new administration, right? The people who hired me were no longer there.
Damn, man, that sucks, dude.
So then I went to Hollister High School after that. So they reached out to me within 2 weeks. They had a contract ready for me, man, full-time employment, ready to go. So I go from head coach back to an assistant coach at Hollister. Yeah.
How long were you there?
I was there for 2 seasons.
How was your experience there at Hollister?
I loved it, man. A lot of learning. I was around a lot of veterans. I was one of the younger guys on staff for those 2 years. Just a lot of accomplishments, right? Hollister football being Hollister football for a reason,
Yeah,
right?
they're always
They're always tough,
yeah,
right?
they're always yeah.
You got to show up and play the hay balers, man, right? And then also being part of a huge school, right?
Yeah.
The biggest school in the Central Coast section, the second biggest school in Northern California, right?
Yeah.
Over 3,500 students or so, right?
Yeah.
At their school. So just being part of how does a big school like this operate? How does a big program like this operate with huge numbers, right? And a lot of coaches too. So that was a lot of learning for me too, right? To understand how to run a big program. So it was great, man. It was great. And I just did my role. I stayed in my lane. I kept my mouth shut, right?
And just learn.
I just was learning. If when they asked me, I answered.
Yeah.
If they didn't ask my opinion, I didn't say a word.
And then from there,
I got an opportunity to go to that's when I went to Colorado.
Right.
So then I got this opportunity to be offered a head coaching job in Arvada, Colorado, which is just north of Denver, just outside of Denver. And how that connection happened was I had a college teammate of mine. His one of his good friends growing up, his dad was buying a new school. So he's creating this new private school called Forge Christian High School in Arvada. And he said, "Hey, I'm looking for a coach. Do you have any recommendations for a football coach?" He's like, "I'll have one guy for you." He's like, "But good luck trying to get him to move from California to Colorado." So then he calls me, and I'm open-minded, right? I'm listening to the pitch. So okay. So this is about a 2-week process, right? Just filling the process out, just understanding where he's coming from, his philosophy, his vision for the school, because it's going to be a brand new school, all new branding, everything's going to be brand new. So I get to probably be part of something new again, right? And he gave me an opportunity, man. He gave me an offer I couldn't refuse. I couldn't refuse the offer he gave me. And he was going to take care of the move, everything, the pay, everything was, opportunity I couldn't pass up. The only concern was my wife runs a small business. She runs a day spa in Spreckles. How can we get that transition to where it can still run functionally, still make the same income or revenue she was making when she was here? Can she sustain that by moving to Colorado? That was the big concern. Well, let's try and find out. So we took a risk, right? We took a chance. And I ended up being there for 2 seasons for that very reason, was that we just couldn't sustain the income we were losing, the revenue we were losing within the spa because my wife wasn't there to run it. Right. And her clientele, right. And managing that and meeting her clientele, make sure that her clients, at least her returning clients, their needs were being met, right. With her services. So we just couldn't figure that piece out. So I was like, okay, well, I'll do 1 more year here. And something, we need a miracle for us to stay. But if it doesn't come, then so be it. I'm a family man.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go back to my family. So I spent the whole 1.5 years away from my family, man.
Oh, your wife had to come back.
My wife was here. My kids were here, and I would fly back every other weekend on the off season. She would fly every other weekend during the season. But yeah, it was hard, man. I had to do the long distance husband, long distance fathering.
Yeah.
It was the most challenging part of my personal life, man. Be honest with you.
Wow.
But the thing about that is we accomplished some great things there, man, at that school. Great things. Yeah.
So obviously that talk was difficult again with your team.
Yes, it was.
And then
yes, it was. But they knew it was no surprise because I always kept the administration up to date as far as my position or my situation. Like, hey, I don't think this is going to work out. Yeah. You know, I really don't. I don't think it's going to work out. So if you guys need to make certain decisions, make sure what's best for the program, then I understand.
Right.
But they did like, no, coach, we want you here. So if you can be here for 1 more year, can you do that? Yeah, I can do it for 1 more season.
Yeah.
Like, okay. And then, man, we ended up playing in the state championship game in year 2.
Nice.
You know what I mean? We go from year 1, we were 4-5. The year before that, there were 2-7. So we improved from the year before. And then the following year, we win 12 straight games in year 2.
Nice.
And we lose in the championship. We lose in the state championship game to a very good team. Yeah, but it was a great experience, man.
Yeah, it was a big accomplishment. So you moved back to Salinas, the 831, you know, because of, you know, the business and being away from your family.
Right.
You made a decision. You're like, you know what? I got to do what's best for me and my family. So, you know, you came back. Now walk us through your new journey right now.
Yeah, man. Hartnell football, baby.
Yeah. I honestly didn't know they were looking for a head coach. I honestly didn't know I know that we're not doing so good, but it's just, I started seeing you back again on social media, and I was like, oh, he's back. I wonder which high school he's going to coach now, right? But I was kind of rooting to see which high school we are going to go for, to see if I was going to have a chance to go apply for your staff, But the next time, I see, I was like, oh, Hardell. I was like, hell yeah, So how did that happen?
Man, it was a process, Jose, process. So I had no idea this was even an option. I had no clue. There was rumors that the job might open up in the spring, but then there was also rumors that they're going to wait for another year and they're going to open up at the end of the season, and then I'll just wait and apply then. So there are certain jobs that I did not apply for head coaching jobs because I was willing to wait another year just to make sure I put myself in position to be the head coach of Hartnell football.
Oh,
right.
Wow.
Yeah. So there's many high school head jobs that I was given the opportunity to interview for, but I didn't even submit an application because I don't want the thing I didn't want to do was that, okay, I say yes to a high school program to be a head coach, but then I'm leaving in a year because Hartnell was going to open up.
Right.
I don't want to do that to them. I don't want to wait. I don't want to do that to the student athletes. I don't want to do that to the faculty. I don't want to do that to the school or community, man. I didn't want to do that. So I'd rather wait, take a year off, or be an assistant coach somewhere and just wait for this opportunity to come, right? Because I knew it was going to come. I just didn't know when it was going to come, right? So I just began preparing for that moment to come. And then sure enough, man, they made the announcement that they're opening it up in May. I applied. So I've been waiting this whole time, right? I moved back in December. January, February, March, April, May comes. I was like, now it's here. So I applied, interviewed for it, and I was offered the job in May.
Nice.
So here we are. Again, another late start though, right? I had a late start in Gonzales, hired in May. In Colorado, I was hired in June.
Yeah.
So it was a late start in June, and here I am, late May, early June, same thing, but I've been here before.
Right.
Been here
Not
before.
your first rodeo.
No, man.
Yeah. Wow. That's amazing, dude. So you got hired in May, and then right away you went to work.
Right.
As soon as you hang up the phone call, I was like, let's get this going.
Oh, I was preparing before that though too.
Did you already have like a mind who were you gonna have in staff, or you just started bringing them as you started going, turning the wheels on as you got hired? How did that happen?
Good question, man. I actually had a coaches meeting in February, right? Not knowing this opportunity was even going to show up, but I still, again, preparation, man.
Right.
Preparation. So I met with over 20 guys, 20 potential coaches, and we had a coaches meeting. And the purpose of this meeting was to let people know, one, when I get the next opportunity to be a head coach, you guys are the men I want to surround myself with, right?
Right.
And this was either guys who reached out to me, guys I have personal relationships with or friendships with, or guys I've coached with before that want to be a part of my next stop, right? So that was the whole purpose of the meeting, is like, okay, this is who I am. This is how I'm going to lead the team. Do you want to be a part of it or not when this opportunity comes, right? Some might have thought this was a waste of time, right? Meeting about something that might not happen, but how am I can't control that. I sure can't control my preparation, right? And the guys I want to surround myself with. So that's what I did. And so I kind of knew already who my staff was going to be. And then certain coaches I couldn't get just because they committed to other programs because of the timeline, right? And I get that.
Yeah.
Like I don't want them to put their coaching career on hold because they're waiting for my opportunity, right? To join me. So some of the guys I lost because they're currently coaching at other high schools right now.
Yeah.
And then we're going to revisit that at the end of the season. But yeah, I knew for the most part, I knew exactly who was going to be on my coaching staff when I was hired.
Pretty much you spoke it to existence, dude. You were getting ready. I like that, dude. I like that.
I'll say I've learned, man, like I learned from my father that you have to, the job or the life that you want, you have to prepare for it now before it can ever come to fruition, right? I'm not going to act like a head coach when I get the job to be a head coach. Right. I'm going to prepare as a head coach long before I ever become a head coach, right? If I want to have a certain wife or a certain spouse in my life, well, I need to make sure my life's in order for me to find this special person of value that's going to bring value to my life. I'm going to bring value to her life before I get married. So these are things that people I don't think consider, but you have to live your life a certain way before you can ever receive that opportunity.
I agree with you 100%. So now let's dive into your philosophy
Hey.
here in Harnell, dude. You describe yourself as a transformational coach. What does that mean to you, and how is that different from being just a traditional coach?
Oh man. I'm here to transform lives, man. And what do I mean by that is that I'm going to speak life into them. I'm going to give them resources that's going to help them become better. So, for example, if I have a team of 100 players on my roster, based upon statistics, only 6% are moving on to the 4-year level. Only 6. So what happens to the other 94 good bodies in that locker room? They're going to do something other than football. So it is my opportunity, it's my job to prepare them for life, man.
Right.
That I tell our guys, you might come in as a boy, but you're going to leave as a man. And this is what a coach I used to coach with at Hollister. His name was Coach Brown. Shout out to Coach Dan Brown, baby. He used to say, this is man class. This is man class. You're going to...
At Juan Avila Photography, we specialize in capturing decisive headshots and portraits that tell your unique story. Serving Salinas, Monterey County, and beyond, our high-quality images reflect your professionalism and authenticity. Whether for corporate teams, executives, or personal branding, let us elevate your image with headshots tailored to your needs. Book your session today.
Learn how to be a man in this program. And what do I mean by that is you're going to be a man of your word. So if you say something and you say you're going to do something, you're going to do it, right? And you can be part of a group and part of a team where it's going to be bigger than just yourself, right? So when I meet my maker, Jose, right? When I meet the creator, when my time on this earth and this life is over and done, and I move on to the next, God's going to ask me, what did you do with those I entrusted you with, right? So he's giving me this opportunity to be a head coach, right? I have all these athletes and coaches in front of me in my care, in my presence. So what did I do with those he entrusted me with? And he's going to hold me accountable for that, man. So what did I teach them? How did I help them become better, right? How did I help them understand what life's truly about other than just football? And that's what it means. But to me, that's what it means to be a transformational coach, is that I'm transforming their minds so they can transform their life.
Beautiful. Beautiful, dude. Football teaches you so many values, from perseverance to humility. I don't know if I pronounced that correctly, dude.
Perseverance.
Perseverance,
right?
there you go. Which of these lessons do you feel every young man needs the most today, and why?
Can you repeat the question?
All right, so it says, football teaches so many values, from perseverance to humility. Which of these lessons do you feel every young man needs the most today, and why?
I would have to say perseverance, no doubt about it.
Yeah.
Persevering through the challenges, persevering through the hard, because what we want is on the other side of hard, right? Just like in life. You want to go to school? Well, guess what, man? You got to go through it to get that certification.
Yeah.
Well, you want to go to real estate, get your license? Well, you got to go to get some education. I don't want to rub elbows with these people or social events. Well, my job depends on it. So doing things that's uncomfortable, out of character, for you to become your very best, right? And to have the life you desire. So perseverance for sure. When challenges and hardships come your way, how do we respond?
Nice. I like that, dude. The other question that I wrote here is, you talk about leading young men towards the light of opportunity. What does the light look like in real terms, especially for kids who come from tough environment?
That their circumstances don't define them. Just because where they're from, economic status, socioeconomic status, doesn't matter. Your circumstances do not define you.
Like that. The other question I have is, you quote John Wooden about correction without resentment. How do you personally hold your players accountable while still keeping their trust and respect?
Yeah, that's a great question, man. That's a daily struggle for me, man.
Yeah.
Or I wouldn't say struggle, challenge, right? To where how I'm able to speak life into a young man without tearing him down.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And hold him accountable to a certain standard without breaking his heart, right? So, but sometimes these kids need to be broken, man. They need to be, because they think they have things figured out and they don't, right? As we all did.
Yeah.
right? As we all thought when we were 18, 19 years old, we thought like, man, I got this thing figured out, man. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. And then what happens when it doesn't, right?
You have a coach in your staff that I love. When he coached me my JV year in Alice High School, Cerrados. Man, I love that guy so much. Sometimes I hated it so much, but I knew that he was always looking out for us. I mean, we were young in Alsa, Eastside Alsa. We had a bad rep, and you know he was a public servant at the time. So I mean, his job was not only tough, but also dealing with a lot of knuckleheads at that time. So you know, when I saw he was in your staff, you know, I put a smile on my face. Yeah.
Coach Ross has done a great job with me, man. I mean, he's at the end of his coaching career, right?
Yeah.
And he made that known to me that he might have one more left in him, right?
Yeah.
And I hope he stays longer because he is valuable, man.
Yeah,
His experiences and everything he gives our student athletes every single day, man, and his passion for the sport and coaching, and then his wisdom and knowledge of the sport.
Mm-hmm.
He's such a great mentor, man. He might not know this, but he's mentoring me right now. Just by how I watch him operate, how I watch him move,
Mm-hmm.
I'm learning from him, man.
You know what? When I was young, you know, I was a little knucklehead, dude. I was a little hard-headed, and now that I'm older, I know that what he told me during those times where we sit down one-on-one, or I was just being a knucklehead, it was for my own good.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so I always, out of all the coaches I had, he's the one that I remember the most.
Yeah.
And
isn't it funny too, Jose? Like, I've never met anyone, I don't know about yourself, but I can only speak for me. I've never met anybody who, when they had people in their life who were hard on them, whether it's their father, a coach, or a teacher, that they didn't appreciate that later in life. Yeah, in the moment, you're like, man, why is he always on my butt for, man? Why is he always asking me to do things that I don't want to do, or making me think in certain ways that I don't want to think? I always want to be who I am and do what I want to do.
Yeah.
But he's challenged me to a different standard in life, right?
Yeah.
He wants me to do more. But why does he care so much, right? Why is he so hard on me? Why does he care so much? But then later in life, 10 years, 15 years down the road, like, thank you, coach.
Yeah.
Thanks for transforming my life. Yes.
You know what? I never got to say that to him because I remember one time my dad is like, my dad never believed in sports. You know, it's all different thought process of his. It's like, you got to work, right? And I remember one time we were playing against Gonzalez, and my dad made me go to work with them. And dude, I literally was bummed out because, you know, not only one, I earned my shot to start that game, and he took that away from me, you know, and I told Coach Cerrados, and Coach Cerrados got mad. Not mad at me, but mad at my dad because it's like, hey, you know. So I remember my dad came over, and they were going at it. And my dad's not like, either you quit the team or that's it. And I was just like, damn it. But it's just to the extent that he went out there to bat for me.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's just like, come on. And I'm always going to be appreciated for that.
Yeah,
you know
man.
what I mean? Yeah.
So you remind me of a story when you were just speaking right now, Jose. I remember a kid at Gonzalez. He was fresh out of juvie.
Mm-hmm.
He was locked up for a little while, and then he was on an ankle monitor, right? He's on house arrest. And he talked to me about, or one of my coaches, Jimmy Carrillo, he's a campus monitor at the time, campus security, and he's like, hey, coach, this guy, he's new to the school. He just moved here from Salinas, and he wants to play. He's interested in playing football. I say, okay. So we talk and stuff, and then he's like, yeah, I can't do it, though, coach, because my PO won't let me. I have to be at home after school. I was like, okay, what's your PO's number? I'll call him. I call his PO, say, hey, man, the worst thing you can do for this young man is not have him around this environment that we're creating for him.
Mm-hmm.
Grown men who care about him, who model what men look like every day, who model what fathers look like every day, right? Model what husbands look like every day because of the coaches.
Mm-hmm.
And then men who really they want to do right by him, right? They want to pour into him. And that's the worst thing you can do is take that away from him. So please allow him to be a part of our team. He doesn't have to play in the games, right? Because I know they're at night and we got to travel. Right. I get all that. But allow him to practice with us during the week then. Mm-hmm. And sure enough, man, they okayed it. And he was part of our team.
Nice. Yeah, it just takes, you know, someone taking that next opportunity to talk to on their behalf, you know. And I know Sorrells did that for me, even though my dad was just like, I love my dad, but he was just, his thought process was like, why are you wasting your time playing? You know what I mean? The old school mentality of my dad. Still love you, Dad. Yeah. All right, the other question I have for you is, how do you balance being a coach, a mentor, a role model, a positive male figure that has a lot of weight to carry? What keeps you grounded?
It's hard.
Yeah.
It's a challenge every day, man. Every day it's a challenge. And then balancing home and the day-to-day stuff with just being the head coach, right? And doing all those living up to those titles you just mentioned, right? And I've learned that what good is it to lead a generation if you can't lead your home, right? What good is it to lead the generation if you can't lead your home? And I take great pride in leading my home. And I have to be reminded daily, right, when to turn off that phone, when to set that phone down, because I'm responding to text messages from players or coaches, responding to emails, right, for recruits or things I need to get done on the to-do list, right, just to run the program, just the day-to-day operations, right? But learning to turn that off is something it's a challenge for me every day, especially right now because it is such a late start. The timeline is not really in my favor, but so be it. Let's go to work. Let's respond. But it's a daily struggle for me, man. It really is. So it's hard. Some days are harder than others. Some days are easier than others, but I'm getting through it. I'm learning. But that's the great thing about having a wonderful spouse is that she understands it, she gets it, and she supports it, but also checks me when I need to be checked.
Right.
Hey, put that phone away.
Yeah.
Hey, last night, man, you weren't present. I need you to be present. Right. Those kind of conversations. Yeah, I don't like it.
Yeah.
But it's necessary.
Yeah, you need to hear it. You know, you need to hear it. You know, catches you, and you're like, yeah, you know what, baby, you're right.
Yeah.
The other question I have for you is, you mentioned that football is a platform for character building. What's one moment or story where you saw the game change a player's life?
Gosh, man.
I did my homework, bro.
Can you repeat the second part of the
So the second part is, what's one moment or story where you saw a game that changed a player's life?
I think the game. So we had this conversation 2 weeks ago within a team meeting we had, and I talked about how many of them need the game more than the game needs them. So what I mean by that is our football program creates a daily structure for their life. They have somewhere to be every day at a certain time. They're going to get something and gain something every single day just from that structure, right? And that consistency in their life. And that's why it changes their life, because the structure brings clarity to their life, right? And then they have a goal in mind, and then it's my job to put out the plan. How are we gonna get to that goal, right? We're here, but we want to get here. So what are we willing to do, and how are we willing to do it in between for that to happen, right? I talk about stacking days every day, right? We stack days because we're stacking to get up to here.
Right.
So that structure is instrumental for their life. But here's the question there, Jose. Here's the question. You didn't ask it, but I'm going to add to it.
Right.
Now what happens when that structure is gone? When they're no longer a student athlete for Hard No Football, who are they now? What happens to that daily structure now? And that's where people get lost.
Right.
I was lost when I coached my football playing career came to an end. I was depressed and I lacked identity because I played a certain sport since I was in 7th grade up until I was 25 years old. Right? It's a long time.
Right.
So when all that structure is now gone, then what?
Yeah.
You see a lot of guys get lost, man, in that journey, in that transition process, right? From athlete to man or citizen or professional, right? Whatever vocation or career path they're going into. What does that transition look like for them to even discover what they want to do after football? Because some guys have no clue what they want to do after football. They just want to keep playing as long as they can.
Yeah.
So they don't even think about it, right? So then when it happens, they're not prepared for it. So again, what my job is to prepare them for that transition.
Right.
Learning from what I went through and other people have went through, my own teammates, right? Where guys are alcoholics today because of that transition. They never recovered. Guys have committed suicide because of that transition, because they lost who they are and who they were, because they were defined by a sport. I don't want you to be defined by a sport, man. I want the Lord to tell you who you are, what you can do. What he says I am, I am. What he says I can do, I can do.
Right.
That's where our identity comes from.
Nice. Love that, dude. You believe in lifelong relationships beyond the field. How do you keep those connections alive after your players graduate or leave the program?
Yeah. It's harder, man. As a longer you coach, the harder it gets because you have so many athletes you've coached, right? So it's kind of hard to stay in touch with certain guys, right? Yeah. But a lot of it comes from them. They take initiative and they send me text messages or respond to my posts online or send me messages. And I talk to quite a few on a weekly basis, right? And man, it just that's one of the rewards, right? You get from
Right.
coaching, man.
Yeah.
Is the lifelong relationships after football. When you get invited to a birthday party for their son or daughter, come on, man.
Yeah.
Or you get invited to the wedding, or you get asked to marry them. I've married a handful of my players.
Really? Nice.
I've married.
You had to get your certificate. What is it called?
Officiate.
Yeah,
The wedding officiant. Yeah. I've done that too.
Nice,
Right.
dude.
So, but unfortunately, on the other flip of the coin, right, the more traumatic and the more unfortunate things is I've had to bury players of mine too.
Really?
Yes, because of death, unforeseen, just death, man. Right. Just life, man. And I was asked by their families to one, do the eulogy, and then to conduct the funeral services, man. So that was very, very hard. I don't want to do it ever again.
Right.
I think 2 was enough for me, to be honest with you. I did it because of the family. I did it because I had a great relationship with the deceased, right? With my former players who passed away, who died. And that's why I did it, was for them. But I don't want to do that.
Wow.
Not again. Yeah.
The other question I have here is there's a lot of emotion in how you coach. How do you teach your players to embrace emotion without letting it control them? Which we talked about earlier, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. You already answered that one, so we're good on that one. If a parent asked you, why should my son play football under Coach B, what would you tell them?
He's a boy now. He's gonna leave a man. That's what I tell him.
Nice.
He's gonna learn things he will never learn anywhere else. Not in any school, not any classroom. He's gonna learn it with us.
Nice, I like that. So my last question. I think this is my last question on this. No, I got 2 more, bro. You said the goal is to turn a young man's ability into reality. How do you help an athlete believe in their own potential when they've never seen what success looks like?
That's a good one, man. So I often tell my athletes too, is like, hey, if you don't have belief to call your own, borrow my belief I have in you until yours kicks in. You know what I mean? And I learned that because of my own personal experience, where I had certain people in my life believe in me, even though I didn't believe in myself, especially as a student. And I borrowed their belief until mine kicked in. So I tell the same thing to my guys. You might not believe that you can get it done. You might not believe where we're headed, but borrow the belief I have in you. Borrow my belief until yours kicks in.
Right.
Yeah.
Nice. I like that one, dude. All right. I think that was it for my questions of your coaching philosophy. Let's tone it down now. Bring down the mood. I'm going to ask you another couple of questions that are, I like to call them like rapid fire style questions. The first one is that if you had unlimited money for one day, what's the first thing you'll do?
I would just swag out our team with all the apparel.
Would be Under Armour or Nike?
Or Adidas.
Adidas?
Yeah.
Right.
I would swag us all out, man. I would get us everything, man, from joggers to shorts to backpacks to their own iPads to their own notebooks to I'll pour it into the program. Yep.
Nice. I like that. What's your go-to hype song before a game or a workout?
It's a good one, man. I really like the song right now, man. Once I hit play on it, man, it just turns the switch on for me. It's called "Seeing Green" by Lil Wayne, featuring Drake and Nicki Minaj.
All right. Tacos or burgers?
Tacos.
What's one guilty pleasure food you can't say no to?
Chocolate covered almonds.
All right. Cool. Who's one celebrity or athlete you would love to have dinner with, alive or passed away?
Inky Johnson.
Okay. Who's one? No. If you weren't a coach, what would you think you'll be doing right now?
Firefighter.
Firefighter.
My pop.
Favorite sports movie of all time?
Remember the Titans, probably.
Yeah, that's a good one. If you could coach any college or NFL team for one season, who would it be?
Oh, for college?
Or NFL?
I thought about the Florida Gators. I was a Florida Gators fan growing up, just because the swamp, the atmosphere, the stadium.
Mm-hmm.
And the NFL team it's going to have to be the Niners.
The Niners?
Yeah.
Niner fan?
Yeah.
All right. What's something that most people don't know about you?
I'm introverted. I'm a naturally introverted.
And then, what would you rather win a championship? No, hold on. What would you rather win a championship as a head coach or mentor a player who goes pro?
Oh, that's easy. Mentor a player who goes pro.
Nice. Who will you play?
The reason why we won a championship because that kid who went pro.
Yeah.
He's the reason why we win.
Yeah.
So it's a double win for me.
Who would you play? Who would you play you in a movie about your life?
My twin brother.
That's an easy one. If you got a weekend off with no football, what are you doing for fun?
We're traveling to the beach. We're gonna be around water.
Around
Yeah,
water?
we're at something, a lake, big lake or ocean.
There was another question that I thought I had on my page here, and I'm looking for it right now. Just bear with me, bro.
Are you okay? I like this. I like this one.
Yeah. Where is it? I'm looking for it. I thought I printed it out. I think I left it in my office, dude. Okay, so you've been around football for so many years, right? What keeps it fresh for you every day, and what still makes it feel like for you, like, man, I love this game?
And that's the beauty about football is that every year you have a different team. You know, because guys are moving on, guys are graduating, or guys are leaving. So every year is a different team. Coaches as well are coming and going, right? The same staff I have this year, I'm going to have somebody different next year, either new or returning or leaving, right? Because life, right?
Yeah.
So I guess that's my answer.
When you wake up in the morning, Coach, how do you get yourself mentally prepared to lead your day? And what's your daily routine as a coach and a motivator?
So first thing I do is pray. I say thank you. I'm a man of gratitude. I begin to thank him and pray about the things I do have instead of what I don't have. From things I take for granted every day, right? From a bed to food on my belly, clothes on my back, shoes on my feet, to transportation, my family, right? Healthy, and the relationships I have with my people and then the coaches and mentors in my life. And I have a gratitude list too. So I write that stuff down. And then I have my playlist it's all Maverick City right now, man. There's this group called Maverick City, and they sing gospel and worship music.
Mm-hmm.
And I just on YouTube, I have a playlist. So I just play that music every single day. It gets me going, man. It just puts my perspective on what I do have and being grateful for what I do have. And then also where all that stuff comes from, which is the Lord above.
So your day starts like, what, 5 in the morning?
Roughly between 5 and 6, yes. Depending on what I got going on that day.
Game day.
Mm-hmm.
On game day, what's your personal ritual or mental approach before stepping into that field as a coach?
Yeah, man. I love my pregame music is a lot of island reggae. I really enjoy island reggae music, man. Just keeps me calm, keeps me collected. I'm not much of a hype guy, until we get to the field. Once the pregame music comes on, the hip hop starts going, then we start getting up, right? We start getting a little hype and things like that. But yeah, that's pretty much my pregame. As a coach, it's not as detailed as we used to. As a player, it was a little bit more structured when I was a player. But as a coach, it's more just preparation, getting the scripts ready, right? The game day script, reviewing the script, watching a little bit more film before we play again, just to make sure I have everything aligned and just make sure my preparation is on point. Right. So a lot of it's just preparation, but then island reggae music to calm me down, to keep me leveled, and then whatever happens after that, right? Because there's a lot of things I have, coach, we need this, coach, we need that. Yeah. I'm working with the trainers. I'm working with transportation. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, you have a million things going. Yeah,
man, you know what I mean?
Yeah. You've seen teams rise and fall. In your eyes, what separates a good team from a great one?
Easy. Player-led. If the team is led by the coaches, you're going to be good. But when the team are led by the athletes, by the players, by the guys in that locker room, that's the great teams.
Nice. How do you prepare your team for adversity, not just physical, but mentally? Because football is just as much as about heart, is about hustle.
Yeah. So we put them through they don't know this. So if they listen to this, they're going to find out where I'm coming from, my strategy. So we put them through very rigorous physical conditioning sometimes, right? Mm-hmm. Not every single day, but we have moments where I run them or we do some kind of circuit training because I want to get them tired. I want it to be hard for them, right, to push through. And I told them, I had to remind them yesterday, the only way we get physically or mentally tough is I have to put you in moments that demands you to be physically tough.
Mhm.
And the only way that can happen is when you're ready to quit and give up and not work hard anymore or not do the task that's being asked of you. That's the only way we could develop mental toughness, by being put in those moments that demand you to be mentally tough.
Right.
So we prepare for that, right? So I get them exhausted and I talk to them, talk to yourself, don't listen to yourself. Speak life into yourself. We're all here together, right?
Yeah.
We over me. I believe, we believe, right? Control what you can. I recover fast. I'm built for this, right? Speaking things out loud, right? So that's how we go about we teach it in the classroom first, right? I give them strategies, what that looks like. And then when we get to the field, I remind them, hey, we're going to go to work right now, man. And when you begin having negative thoughts that infiltrate your mind, you got to talk to yourself and not listen to yourself.
Right.
So
I like that, dude. I like that. I mean, I had to write all these questions, dude, because I didn't want to miss anything.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I didn't want to miss anything. And like I said, I just love that passion. I love football. And I just want to make sure that I don't want you to leave and they'll be like, damn it, I forgot to ask him that question, you know? So I apologize. I have a lot of questions that are written out to you, dude.
No.
The other question that I have for you, just to close it down, who's been one of your favorite coaches of all time that either you remember, or someone that you played along that became your coach, part of your coaching staff, that you admire and that you're grateful for that individual to be where you at right now?
So many. There's so many good coaches I've been around that I've learned from. I would have to say, does it have to be football related or just any coach?
Just anything, anybody that has impacted your life,
Yeah.
you know?
Well, the person I thought about immediately was actually my dad, because he coached me in life, man. He was my father and my dad, but he really coached me up on life. You know what I'm saying? And really what service looks like, to be a servant. We're here to serve, not to be served. God-fearing man, right? He coached me up, man. He just coached me about how he lived his life, right? Most things are caught, not taught. You know what I mean? Let your actions speak so loudly that I could barely hear you speak. You know what I mean? And that's what he coached me up on, man. Was that you need to be a man of your word. You say you're gonna do something, you need to do it, right? Showing up matters. He showed up to everything that was important to me, man. And he's my ultimate coach, man. Is my dad.
Like that, dude. Love that. The last two questions I have is simple. I always ask this two questions to my guests. The first one is, if you go back in time and talk to little Art, what would you say to him?
I would say to him, continue to trust your intuition. Yeah. Continue to trust the wisdom from above and not the world. That's what I would tell you. Hey, what you're thinking, what you're feeling, the decisions you're going to make in the future, in the moment, you might think like, I don't know where this is going to go, but you're going to end up exactly where you need to be, surrounded by the people you need to be surrounded by.
Nice.
That's what I would say to him.
And the last question is, obviously the name of the show is Live Life Podcast. How would you define live life?
Using your gifts and talents and sharing it with the world, using your experiences and sharing it with the world to help other people live a better life, or give them tools to help them live a better life. Just to give back. To whom much is given, much is required.
Nice. Now, is there anything else you want to share? Anything you want to say to the audience? Anything, some words of inspiration, or just anything you want to just say right now to either the haters or anything you just want to say, dude, right now? Just go ahead, you know.
So I think about, there's a story I heard about a man being on his deathbed, and while he was on his deathbed, he was surrounded by all these by the ghosts of his talents and his gifts. So as he's laying on his deathbed, the ghost say to him, "How come you didn't use us? Here we are. We came to you, and you didn't apply us. You didn't use us, right? I gave you the ability to speak and to speak eloquently. You didn't use it. I gave you the gift to mentor and lead. You didn't use it. I gave you the gift to be a musician. You didn't use it. I gave you the gift to sing. You didn't use it. I gave you the gift to connect with others and use empathy as your gift. You didn't use it. So when we pass, what are the ghosts of your talents and gifts going to say to you when it's all said and done? Did you use it? Did you waste it?
Whoa.
That's my
Damn.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a good way to end this episode. Wow. That was a good one, dude. That was a really good one. I haven't had no words for that one.
Mm.
Yeah, that's a good way to end this episode. But before we do, if nobody's following you, where can they follow you? Where they can reach out?
Yeah, my social media handle is at Coach A Berlanga, at Coach A, letter A, and my last name Berlanga, at Coach A Berlanga.
Nice. Well, Coach, it was an honor having you here. It was an honor hearing your journey, talking about your passion, hearing you how devoted you are, been to all these kids, through your journey, especially now in the football program right now. And I mean, I see it. I see you doing the good things. I see the team coming forward. I have a nephew, dude, that he can't wait to graduate and go play for you.
Hey, come on.
And it's just like, I'm going to keep supporting you. And I hope I get to learn from one of the best, you. And keep doing what you're doing, man.
Thank
I
you,
appreciate it. I know that a lot of people are seeing what you're doing, even haters, but what you're doing is big. And I give you have my respect, man to man. Not everybody gets to do what you're doing out of love, because coaching, it's a lot.
Yeah.
It's not just X's and O's, or like you do this, you do that, and you handle the O-line, you handle the D-line, and no, it's more. And you're pretty much the definition of what a coach should be. You hear it from the high levels, from college, from NFL. You have all these big, wonderful coaches, all style, like, Coach Gruden, like he couldn't be himself this new season when he was with the Raiders because a lot of rules, regulations, and practice they practice certain days. It was not like back in the days where they practice so many hours, and it's just times change. But it's just like you're adapting to a new style that I feel like we need a lot, even in high school and Pop Warner. I've seen coaches in Pop Warner in high school that are just like, dude, what are you guys doing? You know what I mean? And be able to learn from someone from you. And I recommend this to everybody out there. If you're a coach out there, you want to learn from this guy and apply it to your program. Don't do things that it's just, come on, man. There's a way to talk to kids. And it's just, I don't know what else to say, dude. I'm just like, I'm just blessed that I was able to have this conversation with you, talk about the game, talk about your passion. And at the end of the day, it's like, this is where everybody should be at. Follow. I mean, if you could build like a coaching guide or something, like a book, dude, I mean, that would be phenomenal. Or even do clinics for coaching, dude, or something like that for people to learn and learn from you, take that a little piece from you and apply it on their program. I think you should do that. And yeah, dude.
Thank you.
No, thank you for being here. I appreciate you. I know you got to go back to Harnell and do your work over there, but thank you, dude.
Hey,
thank you.
My man.
Hey, appreciate you,
Yes,
man.
sir, man.
Yeah. All right, guys. That's today's episode. We're out.
Hey.
That was awesome.
Oh, thank you, man. That was great.
Yeah, that's a lot of questions.